Thank you to everybody for being here. You know, as a fellow president of a political organization that just did our marathon and endorsement session yesterday, I empathize with what you all are going through. So I just want to say I really appreciate you all taking the time and giving me the opportunity to come here and speak. As Glenn mentioned, I am Jonathan Lyens, sound pronounced like the animal. I'm a candidate for Supervisor in District 1. You know, and a lot of folks, obviously, you know, they always want to know, some derivation of why are you running, or, some folks say, why are you doing this to yourself? And I think it really boils down to two simple words. It matters. It matters who steps up and runs for the Board of Supervisors. We have a wide open election in the Richmond District. As everybody knows, Eric Marr is termed out, so it is a wide open seat with 10 candidates in it, with ranked choice voting. And this is, for these exact instances, is exactly why we as progressives fought for ranked choice. But really, we are at a pivotal point in San Francisco. We're quite literally fighting to protect the heart and soul of our city from being evicted. And many of our, particularly, the communities that make our city so diverse and so great. People with disabilities, women, people of color, low income, working class folks. They are, for many years it was easy. They were just, sort of pushed out and shoved out of the political and economic system. And that was one thing, but we're now quite literally being evicted from San Francisco. And it matters, we need a fighter in San Francisco who has the ability, the track record, and the experience to get involved in this fight. I'm proud to say that I'm the only candidate on the ballot in this race that has ever worked in City Hall. And I think that's critical experience. I don't believe that being supervisor should be an on-the-job training kind of a gig. I don't think we have time for that, I spent 4 years in the mayor's budget office basically from the beginning of the recession to the end. I've been a labor negotiator for the city. I'm now a contract negotiator on the team that just rebuilt San Francisco General Hospital. So I negotiate multi-million-dollar contracts with multi-billion-dollar corporations, fighting to save the city money and protect the city's liability. I've also been really active in the neighborhood. I'm the immediate past board president of the Richmond District Neighborhood Center. We're the largest nonprofit in the neighborhood, serving 3,000 neighbors every single month through after-school, senior, family food programs. And I'm also obviously a huge advocate for people with disabilities. As Glenn mentioned, I'm president of the FDR Democratic Club for seniors and people with disabilities. And I think we have a long way to go in San Francisco. We talk a lot about identity politics, rightfully so, and I think we should. We talk a lot about our elected officials being truly representative of the diversity that makes our city great. But in those discussions on identity politics, nobody talks about disability. And my campaign is all about changing that. The people with disabilities are 20% of the population, but we make up 0% of our elected officials in San Francisco. And I think that, my community has a right to be at the table just as much as anybody else. And, I really want to fight to make sure that we all have a voice in City Hall. People in the city always like to, there's a lot of folks in the city that want to call themselves advocates. I'm an advocate for this, I'm an advocate for that, it's all good stuff, But, I didn't just become an advocate one day out of some kind of political expediency. I was born this way. I've been standing up for the little guy my whole life because my whole life it has been me that has been the little guy. I've been fighting tough fights, since the day that I was born. And I'll tell you right now that if I had $1 donated to my campaign for every time somebody in my life has told me that I could not do something that I then turned around and did, I would be the largest fundraiser in this race. And I think that's the kind of supervisor that we need, with that experience and the willingness to step up and step in and fight to protect our tenants, to protect our families, to protect our seniors, our people with disabilities, our low-income folks. And with that, I would love to have any and all questions.
It's perfect, John, because we're just about right at 5 minutes.